The Henry Long Ranger Express. Let's check it out. Henry is known for its lever action rifles, and they're very high quality firearms made right here in the USA, all the way from .22 caliber all the way up to .45-70. You know, lever action rifles have been part of Americana since the 1800s, whether it's hunting or even used in war. It's a very fast loading firearm, but there are a number of downsides to the lever action rifle. So Henry's introduced their Long Ranger series. Now this is the Long Ranger Express, and it's just a little bit of a shorter barrel, 16.5 inch, compared to the original 20 inch of the Long Ranger. And there are some advantages to this design that's over your traditional lever action rifles, and we're going to talk about it. Semi-automatics are definitely fast, but lever action rifles can be very quick to deploy. And so there's a lot of advantages to a lever action rifle, and it's legal in all 50 states. And we want to thank Henry Repeating Arms for sending the Long Ranger Express for this review. If they would have named it the Lone Ranger, I would have had a mask on and we'd have had Tonto with us. Now the traditional lever action rifle, that's what Henry's known for, and they make one of the most high quality lever action guns out there. These are very premium, they're very slick. I've done a number of reviews with the lever actions. I love different calibers in them. I mean, there's so many different things you can do with a lever action rifle, and they're very quick. But there are some downsides to the lever action rifle, and Henry really addressed those with the new Long Ranger series. Now the Long Ranger Express, again, it's a smaller, more carbine size than the traditional Long Ranger. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes. But I just wanted to give you kind of a side-by-side with the standard lever action and what the improvements have been made with the Long Ranger. This is one of the case color hardened rifles. It has the walnut stocks on it. Very smooth action. This one is in .44 Magnum, but it comes in a number of calibers. This one does have the side loading gate, but it also has the tube fed. And so there are a lot of different ways that you can load this. Originally Henry just had the tube fed, but have recently gone to the side loading gate, which a lot of people are asking for. Large lever on the back. I mean, this is an absolute beautiful rifle. Here the Long Ranger, it comes in with that laminated stock. That is one thing that really improves the durability, weather resistance. It's going to be a little bit easier with damage that may be done to it because these are laminated and they're sealed and they're watertight. It's one of the things that I really like about this laminated stock. But one big upgrade with the Long Ranger is that we have a detachable 5-round magazine. So it makes it really fast to load. You can just put it in, load it. I mean, you're ready to go. It has a small button right here to be able to just bring that out. It's unobtrusive, so you don't have to worry about it in the field, dropping your magazine. And then we're going to go ahead and check the chamber, and the gun's empty. One thing about a magazine like this is we can load rimless cases, and also they can have a tip, ballistic tip, and that is one of the big advantages of this type system. Here with the tube, you load in your rounds and they just go down the tube, or again, you can load it with the side gate, which, your typical Marlin and your Winchester have those. Side loading gate, just push it in and it just feeds into the tube. But one of the big problems with a tube fed is you have this tip that butts up right against the primer of the round right in front of it. And with that tip, with recoil, loading the magazine, you could actually hit that primer and ignite a round. And it could really damage your firearm or worse. And so that's one of the reasons why bullets that have tips like this you don't find in your standard lever action rifles. Typically you see blunt nose bullets that fit up against there, and then you don't have an issue with setting off that primer. These are 45-70, they're huge, but 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum, even 22 long rifle. You don't have to worry about igniting a round while it's in the tube. And so that has been a big limitation with your traditional lever action rifle that is tube fed. And so the Long Ranger allows you to shoot a multitude of different type calibers, different loads, different shaped bullets, pointed bullets for sure. Now the Express only comes in 5.56 or 223. But the standard Long Ranger comes in 223, 243, 308, and 6.5 Creedmoor. So you have a lot more options, especially at that longer range. And that's one of the reasons why it's called the Long Ranger, not Lone Ranger. And with your traditional lever actions, you have a tube that is actually attached to the barrel. And so that is going to affect accuracy. Having anything attached to your barrel, it just keeps it from being as accurate and consistent as it can be. Here with the Lone Ranger, there's nothing touching the barrel. In fact, this is a free float barrel. Okay, we take this cardstock and it comes all the way down. And it will come all the way down, it's just thicker. So this is not touching the barrel. And this really allows for you to get that consistency that you're not getting with the standard lever action. But one of the things about having a magazine is you're loaded. You can load those 5 rounds in. You can't load 5 rounds into the tube through the side gate or through the standard loading tube as fast as you can just switching out another magazine. But 5 rounds great for hunting, and it keeps this a very slimline rifle. One thing too is we have these steel feed lips, and of course you have your orange follower so you can see that it's empty. And then there's a steel plate at the bottom. The magazine housing right here is polymer, but it seems to work really well. And the button, while the button's great and it is good that it's flush, it just takes a little bit of getting used to just to drop that mag out. But again, getting used to it, it doesn't take much to pop that out. Now, of course, it'd be nice if we could get some magazines that were extended. I mean, this is 5 rounds, and so you're going to be limited to that. A lot of people are wondering if you can get extended magazines. But as we bring the lever down, you'll notice that it actually blocks where an extended magazine would come. And so any additional rounds right here, I mean, it's going to be really close. So I don't really see anything happening as far as getting something that's over 5 rounds, unless they can compact more rounds in this size magazine. The Long Ranger Express comes with a Picatinny rail along the top of the receiver. The receiver is actually longer than your standard traditional lever action, so you're going to have more real estate to be able to attach a Picatinny rail here at the top. Now these are drilled and tapped. You can actually include a scope, but this just is already there, and you can put either a red dot, or we have one of the primary arms ACSS, and really this is a 1:8 scope, and these are just excellent. But really, I like a compact scope on here. I wouldn't put anything larger than this, but you could add a really high magnification scope because 223 is really accurate. And the way this thing is set up is going to give you that accuracy. Now, with the design of the Long Ranger, it has an improved bolt system. So we're going to pull our lever back, and if you'll look, it has a rotating bolt, so it's going to give it a real solid lockup. When it comes in, it just twists and it locks into the chamber. And that's going to give you a really tight fit. It's going to aid in accuracy. Now looking under the magazine well, you'll see these teeth, and this gives it a really solid lockup. This is geared to be able to be very precision, and then you have your bolt coming back, and it's 6 lugs. So as it comes around, it just rotates and then it locks in. In fact, Henry says that this will shoot like a bolt action rifle, which they are the most accurate. Very smooth. Here with your standard lever action, we pull it back. You can see the extractor. I mean, it's just your standard bolt, and this has worked great for years. But with the Long Ranger, it's just going to give you better lockup into the chamber. Also, this is a much shorter throw, if you'll notice. It's a really short bolt. Of course, this is in 44 Magnum. With the Lone Ranger, I mean, we have a really long, massive bolt. And that's the reason why we have a longer receiver. Now there is a transfer safety bar that's going to keep this from the hammer hitting and firing around. And so that is one of the safety features. But like most lever action rifles, there's no cross bolt type safety. So pretty much, you cock the lever, and then if you want to drop the hammer, you just have to be really careful not to let it go. And that is your safety. Also with the Express, we have a threaded barrel, and this is half by 28 threads. You'd have to have a little bit longer barrel with the traditional to get those threads. Of course, this has the octagon barrel. I love it. But you just have to have a little bit of an extension. Both of these are 16.5-inch barrels. But the Long Ranger is actually a little bit longer, and that has to do with the receiver. It's just longer, again, to house that bolt. I mean, it's at least about 2 inches in length longer. And we have a little bit more reinforcing right here at the stock. Now we have a nice cap at the end, and we do have a sling swivel stud at the front and here at the back, and we do have a nice rubberized butt pad. And man, this laminated stock is just beautiful. We have a little bit of a comb here, but we do have just the straight stock. Now while the comb does come up, unless you're having some really low rings to bring the scope down low, you're going to just get part of your cheek on the stock. And so with it being raised up a little bit, you just kind of cant your head just a touch. If I had to do it over again, I would put low rings on here and shoot with low rings. Or you can add a cheek riser to the back. Now this is the original Long Ranger. This has the 20-inch barrel. It comes with the American walnut stocks, beautiful checkering. Does not have a threaded barrel, at least on this early model. It's drilled and tapped, and they have a couple of mounts right here. Still has the straight pistol grip, 5-round magazine. This one is also in 223. And this model also comes with iron sights if you want them. But the original Long Ranger comes in different calibers. You have your 223 like we have with the Express, but it also comes in 243, it comes in 308, and also 6.5 Creedmoor. Now for trigger pull the hammer back, it just has a almost imperceivable take up. And then a nice break. I mean, it is really quick. Trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 4 pounds, 4.2 ounces. 4 pounds, 2.7 ounces. And again, the magazine, you have a little lever here, you pull it out, holds 5 rounds. And we really appreciate Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo, all made in the USA. And one of the largest suppliers of ammunition in the country. So it's real simple to load, and just pop it right back in. Now when it comes to the range, one of the biggest things that I like about the Long Ranger is that it's so handy. It's slim, it's trim, there's no tube coming out the end under the barrel, but also loading this rifle is a huge plus. With the detachable magazine, even though it's just 5 rounds, it's really quick to be able to switch these magazines out if you have extra magazines. And so you can just get them in and out, loading from the side gate, even from the tube. It just takes longer. And so if you need those extra rounds, it's just a lot faster with the Lone Ranger. And then with the Express, it's got that shorter barrel. But again, it's very handy to shoot, very pointable. Whether you're sitting at the bench, which makes it nice, but also shooting offhand, which is typically what you're going to be doing in a hunting situation. But one thing about a lever action rifle is it's fast, and you can really get shots downrange very quickly. And also like to have a more compact optic. I mean, the 1:8 primary arms optic is just excellent. The ACSS reticle really shows up well, and you can get full advantage of it with 223 rather than a lot of the calibers that you have with your traditional lever action rifle. But also you could put a red dot on here. I mean, it would make it really handy, really fast. With that Picatinny Rail on top, it makes it really adaptable to a lot of different optics. Now, one thing you don't have are sights, and so you're going to have an optic on this rifle. But if you want to put a muzzle brake on here, which for 223 I don't think that it's necessary, but you could put a suppressor. It really has a streamlined feel, but it also has a streamlined look to it. And when you're out hunting, I mean, it's nice to have that really easy to carry rifle because it doesn't get hung up on a lot. And with the tube and everything else, sometimes they can get a little bit, especially if you're going through brush. This just makes it easier to carry. Also, you know, it is free float, which is not typical for your standard lever action rifles. So you can really get good accuracy with these rifles. Now, the Henry Long Ranger is not the first lever action rifle to be magazine fed. In fact, Browning has their BLR. It's very similar to the Long Ranger. It has a multitude of different calibers, which they offer 223, but they go all the way up to 308, 6.5 Creedmoor and beyond. And there's even a takedown model with the BLR. Then here on the barrel, Henry Repeating Arms, Rice Lake, Wisconsin, made in the USA. Caliber 223 Remington. 5.56. All of Henry rifles have lifetime warranties, all made in the USA. One of the things about this rifle is that you can take it to any state. There's no restrictions on these type rifles. Even you can take this to Canada if you want to do some hunting. The manufacturer's suggested retail price is $1,235. Of course, market price, you can find it for less. The magazines run $36.69 on the Henry website, and they may also be available for less. But a really solid rifle has a lot of advantages over your standard lever action rifle. Again, that magazine is really quick to load. You have a threaded barrel. It's free float. The laminated stock is just beautiful. The lockup does give you accuracy like you would get with a bolt action rifle. And it's just Henry quality. These rifles are really extremely well made. So guys, if you're looking for a good little varmint rifle, this is a very handy rifle in 223. You can get long range shots with it. If you want to step up to the bigger calibers, of course, the standard Lone Ranger 20-inch barrel would fit the bill and goes all the way from 223, 243, 308, and 6.5 Creedmoor, which will really get you out there on target. So check out the Henry line of Lone Ranger rifles. The Express, excellent, really small, handy, and it really ups the game over the standard traditional lever action rifle. And again, we want to thank Henry for sending the Lone Ranger Express for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.
This whole time.
Was it?
It was. I just want to see what you do.
I just do it again. Only offered in 223, and it's only in. Oh, what am I saying? Let me look. I'm sitting here running my freaking. The lever action rifle is very quick. Okay. What is Kimosabi? And even here with this cardstock, this will go all the way. Okay. With this magazine, detachable, okay, which comes in a multitude of different colors. I mean, different colors. It comes in a multitude of different colors. Great for hunting, great for just pest control. And here on the barrel, Henry Repeating Arms, Rice Lake. The Lone Ranger. Hi-yo, Silver! The button, dude. Going from side gates now, even a tube gate. So that is a big plus,